Hello everyone, I'm Ron Grant and you're watching 284 Media. We are, of course, continuing our series Just for the Record, Journey to Elections 2023. Joining me today is at-large independent candidate Mr. Lesmore Smith. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctvvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back, everyone. As promised, you are watching Just for the Record, and we are joined by businessman Mr. Lesmore Smith, who is an at-large independent candidate in the 2023 general elections. Mr. Smith, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, listening audience. I'm happy to be here.
Now, you are no stranger to the community in different facets. This is also not your first political run, but for the persons who may not know you, who is Lesmore Smith?
Lesmore Smith, son of the soil, owner Top Priority Security Services Limited. Live, grow in the 5th District all my life. I'm now seeking your permission to become the representative in this territory as an independent at-large candidate, hoping that I would be successful. I must say, Ron, thanks to those persons for the last election that voted 1,000 plus, that confidence. I still feel confident now going into the election. I would be successful this time around.
All right. Now, you spoke about top priority services, but I want to go a little bit more in depth into your track record. What would you say, based on your track record, would qualify you to be an elected representative?
Ron, I'm the owner for Top Priority for the last 23 years. I'm law enforcement 16 years, trained fireman, trained security, had multiple training in the US and London. I know for a fact with all the issues that are plaguing our community now, crime, domestic violence, and all the other economic issues, I think being able, for the years being involved in security as an entrepreneur, I've been donating to the community all these years. I continue to donate. As you know, the 2017 horse racing, the racetrack, we got torn down with the storm. I was able to bring that back up, had it in line. When people say it couldn't happen, it happened. So for me, being the fighting spirit have always been, giving back to the community, the community has always been. I'm not afraid to take the risk. I'm not afraid to go out there and take the chances. My goal is to see people happy, at what cost. I don't feel like it's about me. I never felt that way. I've donated to the schools throughout this territory for the past 20 years in different form and facet, different organization, WIN, BVI, FSN. After the hurricane, I give FSN 10 generators for distribute in the community, and I have photo to show those things. I'm not bragging of my accomplishment, what I've done. I'm just reminding people that I've never failed to give the community a helping hand when needed.
Understood, and thank you for that. What would you say at this present point are some of the key areas that we need to address in our territory? If elected, what would be some of your top priorities?
My top priority, I have 6.
Top priority, no pun
I know.
intended.
My top priorities would be, I have 6 listed items on my platform. That I'm going to stick to those. But I look at it, at the end of the day, we have to start somewhere. Security, infrastructure, economic development, youth empowerment, being able to create those things, seniors. And you know, senior have always been a passion of mine, and youth have always been a passion of mine. The reason being is growing up, the senior took care of me as a youngster. And now, to me, I'm in the middle. I want to be able to look upwards and take care of those, and look downwards and take care of the youth. Because I think we all have a purpose and a place to play in this life. I feel I'm in that position where I need to do that based on where I came from, based on the society that helped me to be where I'm at today. I think I need to give back and continue to give back, whether elected or not. And even in the last general election, I didn't stop. So it wasn't about the election. It's straightly about me, because my goal is to always being able to be a help to someone along life's way.
You mentioned last election. In last election, you were part of a team, the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement. This time around, you are an independent candidate. What transpired that would have led you to being an independent candidate versus being a part of the movement for which you are a part of?
There are a few things that happen. In every relationship, you must understand there are differences. And sometimes to save the friendship in the relationship, you literally walk away from the relationship, but not kill the friendship. And at the end of the day, I'm still friends of the PVIM. Mr. Ronnie Skelton, as you know, is my personal friend. And I pledged nothing or no one would change that. And that's what I'll continue to have for him, that high regard of respect. And that's where it is. But I also assured him that the journey would continue. I will be alongside to complement, even if I'm not with him directly. And that will remain.
Okay. We talked about some of your top priority issues. I have to ask you, what is your thoughts on the state of healthcare in the Virgin Islands at present?
I think we can do better. Having the opportunity to work at the hospital services, I get to see a lot of things that probably ailment and understand more about the different diseases that plague us as a community. And I think we can do better in terms of us as a community being able to curb some of our own challenges. I am aware that stress do in fact bring a lot of ills sometimes to the system, meaning the body. And I believe if we could, from the society perspective, begin to be more appreciative and helping and reaching out, then we could curb some of the problem. Because some people, obesity comes through probably stress. So I just sit there because there's nothing to do. I'm overwhelmed, so I just eat and get out of order. And those things can happen. I believe that if we begin from our community standpoint, one of the things that I have in my recommendations going forward, from the 5th district where I'm from, I think I checked, we have about 3 doctors. We have the community center in Long Trench for Hill area. I'm hoping that I can do a private-public partner relationship in having those doctors donate at the least an hour per day or 2 per day at different times to be able to do some health checks to the community, especially our seniors that are not fortunate or able to come into the town area for the checkup, or even advance it to the home where you could begin to look at them more closely instead of having them just stay there and deteriorate. So I think those are things that in my portfolio that I would like to see start happening and happening right away. Because I know the good doctors that are there, I think they would run with the program. Because if the community is healthier, then the BVI is healthier.
You mentioned the word portfolio. If elected, in what portfolio, what capacity? Let's look at ministerial portfolios. Where would you best see yourself fitting in that capacity?
I think communication works because I'm into infrastructural development. I'm into electronic technology, security, and most of those areas fall under communication works. Not saying that for me, becoming a minister of government, the first thing I need to do is to sit down with the people that knows how and know better, to understand what we need to do in order for me to get a better understanding how do we go forward with it. I'm a businessman. I'm not a politician. I'm a lover of people. I'm not a caretaker. So I have to understand the need first. How do we go about it from the expert in order for us to be able to come to an understanding? I can push with ideas, but you have to help me push with your qualification and expertise to make it a reality.
Mr. Smith, you just said that you're not a politician, but you're running for public office. Then what are you?
I'm a person hoping to serve the people and help meet their needs. A leader in leadership skills. From that perspective, not from a political standpoint, just want to go and sit and raise my flag, I'm a politician. I want to be a leader, true leader, and not the name politician.
Understood. I have to touch on the Parkwood Pond Waste Management site that continues to be an issue for persons within that community and the territory on a whole. Do you see the current situation at the Parkwood Pond Waste Management site as a threat to the health of residents and surrounding districts? Stay tuned for more Just for the Record right after this.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turned into 5. 5 months turned into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I have to touch on the Parkwood Pond Waste Management site that continues to be an issue for persons within that community and the territory on a whole. Do you see the current situation at the Parkwood Pond Waste Management site as a threat to the health of residents and surrounding districts?
As far as I understood, it has been over the years and it would continue to be, because coming out of COVID, where there was so much mixed feeling or misconception, misunderstanding as to really what's causing the different diseases, and you're having all the different ways from different angles going into one area, it's a level of contamination. And you take in that smoke and you take in that waste and it's all been burned together. And now the smoke from it is permeating the oxygen level that we're taking in. Then it's not the healthiest thing for us, because then through that process, because oxygen, the cleaner oxygen we breathe help us to be healthier. Then if we're using contaminated oxygen, it will make us sick as well. So I think we will have to look carefully and not buy an insinuator to last for the next 5 years, but go into the development where we get an insinuator that will last for the next 30 years, because we are a growing community. And I think that's one of the challenge that we have faced. We go for today, not for tomorrow.
You and your company, Top Priority Security Services, have been known to offer security services to a number of businesses. One of those areas and particularly environments would be the Elmore Stout High School.
Yes.
What is your take on bullying in our schools?
Ron, we just been awarded the contract for the Elmore Stout High School, going through the tender process. And after receiving confirmation of that, even before I'm at this stage, we already have put in a plan in place as to how we're going to go in and be able to help to adjust some of the situation. I'm a trained officer from the security perspective in school environment, bullying and all that stuff. I spent a week in New Jersey, going through the school systems, understanding to see how we can help to curb the problem. So my training area is pretty extensive. I've also brought in facilitators that did training locally with my staff, including some of the principal like Mr. Hodge, Ms. Garraway at the high school in those areas. So we have a holistic approach as to them being a part of the plan. Now that is getting there. Okay, we look at the at-risk children first. We are trying to create some sort of reward process. How can we reward them for the good and not always tell them about the bad? So we're looking to develop a program. Okay, how can we create them to be good hall monitors? Take the energy, direct it into the positive, and take that same energy and take it into the community. You empower them to believe more of themselves. And then that empowerment will tell them their value to go elsewhere. Because it's the same energy that they come from the community with, they bring into the school. We know that there are challenges in the homes, so it's a holistic approach. We find out, we investigate, we get social development a part of the team, and how can we help to go in to uproot some of the ills to make the children believe more of themselves. We understand that there are a whole lot of challenge. We have to take it head on. We have to let them know we care, and that's where we have to start. We care, and we care enough to let you know your value. And all that blank walls that you see there in the high school area, I'm looking for persons like 284 Media, Clarence Thomas, whatever development there in the country, Sitco, whoever. We need you to sponsor a wall and let them put the negative paint, the positive paintings on those walls. So as they traverse through the school, they're seeing positive things all the way through it. That way it helps them to grasp there is a better way.
Well, I know my team here at 284 Media would love to be a part of those types of projects. You said something that I think was quite instrumental. You mentioned that your company, Top Priority, has been contracted to return back to the Elmore Stout High School. Political leaders or sitting legislators having contracts with government have been a continued conversation. What are your thoughts on the fact that you have served the community in various capacities? If you are elected, how would you then maneuver through the partnership of yourself and your company having contracts with the government? What is your stance on that?
My stance is one, I have to follow the procedures, the protocol, declare all my engagement, involvement with the government. I have capable people on board the team that can take it forward, continue managing it. I'm willing to ask or answer any questions that are asked of the entire operation. I have nothing to hide. I know what I have at stake. I know what is at stake. Not only the contract with the school, I've just rented my building in Long Bush to the health ministry, so I have to declare those. So I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to, no, I don't have anything to hide. I'm taking the risk because the risk is bigger than me. It's no good to me to enjoy the steak when the other guy can't get a Vienna sausage, because eventually he's going to haunt me for my steak. But it's better for me to reach back to help that person that is behind suffering, to be sure that we all come along and create equal opportunities for everybody to enjoy.
In that regard, I have to touch on the recently concluded Commission of Inquiry. What was your view, or what is your view on the recently completed Commission of Inquiry?
Based on what I've seen, let's admit we do stupidness. We did a lot of stupidness. We went wrong in a lot of ways. Now, one would say the governor was there. Yes. We are all supposed to be held accountable for our own actions. If somebody wants to see you self-destruct, they would not tell you when you're going wrong. They would allow you to continue going wrong and then get the upper hand on you. But if they care for you enough, they would tell you, I didn't like that. Ron, you ain't do good today. Fix it. But you allow Ron to do the same thing. You allow Lesmore to do the same thing till you get him in the corner where you need him and then throw it all at him. That's a bad relationship to establish. If you care enough, tell me from the inception. Yeah, but if we were paying attention long enough, we would have seen that we could have changed it, because there was numerous echoes in the atmosphere saying, if we don't police ourselves, they're going to police us. So we arrive to where we are being policed. But there's still hope.
No,
because we can fix it.
With that in mind, you said we do a lot of strippiness. Do you view the findings as a fair representation of what has transpired in the Virgin Islands over the last decade at least?
There could be some questionable factors to that. Fair on whose side? On the guy who wants to win or the guy who's losing? The thing about it, as I mentioned before, if your interest is not to pull me back, but to let me self-destruct to get control of me, then I let you go. But if I was paying attention long enough, I would have seen I'm making an error. Now the whole process might have gone in favor. It's like you live in your mother's house. The process gone in favor of her because I can beat you when I choose. This is my house. So I gonna tell you what I want you to do. So it might not have gone in your favor to say, well, Mom, you get no chance to explain. All you know is you get the stick and saying, not in here. But what did I do this time that you didn't even give me a chance to explain why I did it?
Understood. Do you believe that the sitting government can successfully implement the 48 recommendations?
It's a challenge. They are doing well at getting most of it out of the way. Some of it will be a challenge because it's going to cause you to go beyond certain measures. But at the end of the day, if you stay focused enough to be sure that you're delivering in a timely manner. And one of the things that I always believe in anything, there must be a negotiation. I'm here where you want me, but I can't give it to you as fast as you want me because there's some pieces that I need a little extra with. I have to go back and call for that time. You give me a timeline, but based on the timeline you give me, I can't give you all you're asking me for. I'm trying, and there's effort that I'm trying. But I still can't come out and tell you, wait till I'm ready. I'm trying. I'm simply saying to you, I'm coming, but you know it's impossible to give you all you're asking for. I'm negotiating in a professional manner, not a hostile manner. Because when you became hostile with the gun pointing at you, I can pull the trigger. And the trigger's still in my hand.
Okay, now any representative who's elected and any government that is formed will be tasked with continuing the recommendations that were set out in the Commission of Inquiry. Where do you see yourself fitting in that demographic of assisting with the implementations if elected?
I always believe advice and the people that know it better have those communication with them. You need to communicate. I'm not a lawyer. There'll be legal issues that may come about. I need advice on. I can give you from where I sit. My opinion, remember it's an opinion, even legally it's an opinion. But the draftsman or the legal person will give you a better opinion. The finance person will give you a better opinion. I'm from a business perspective. I understand how you negotiate. But you from the financial perspective, because every business has to have a financier because you depend on them and a lawyer to give you the added pieces what you don't see. So at the end of the day, in reality is you have to still depend on that to be able to bring everybody still around the table to mesh it and make sure you get the best result from it.
Now you are in security. I have to ask you, what is your take on the crime situation in the territory? There is no one district that is affected. It affects the entire country from east end to west end. Having been in security, having dealt with a lot of critical security matters, what do you think is the cause, the root, and how would you, if elected, assist in curbing the crime situation in the territory?
One thing that in my studies in crime prevention through environmental design is that you're building a country, but you're going left the people in terms of employment. And we can rightfully say that 2017 hurricane has caused us a lot, and the pandemic has even caused us further, where we had to literally lock down. And it's like everybody been totally out of business, out of job. So you have to understand it's now like a reactive situation. You find that the other persons on the street find the easier way to go into the other side of things to get their faster pace, to keep things going. The influence are there. And you find that in these kind of situations, the people that are the shakers and the movers go to the vulnerable ones and literally recruit them. So you find the young men and the young ladies that are out there, less fortunate. You and I, okay, I'm going to give you a case of soda today, but you have to run me a case of hot dog. They know they don't have anywhere to get the soda from besides what been offered to them. I'm just using that as an illustration. So they're going to take the hot dog, not knowing the danger with the hot dog going down the road. So you find out they get the soda, tomorrow they're going to get a case of malt with the soda. So the encouragement and the enticement happen to entrap, and that is used through entrapment. So you have them all buy in. And then the other person seeing you surviving now, how you getting through? So the continuous process. What we need to do is, we know that our young people are challenged. We know that they have been somewhat out of school for a while. They're single parenting out there. So there are a whole lot of issues. I mentioned before, I believe if the social development had created a task force, probably with the police, FSN, whoever earlier, and begin to look at the network of people and our children that are less fortunate, vulnerable ones along the wayside, and begin to understand what's happening around them, we would have done better. Now the issue with what would I do with the security? I recommend, years ago, we can put electronic mechanism in place. Use the border patrol system. It's right across the water from us. I had communication with them. We can see you 2 miles out. We don't need you and I to come and say anything, putting our lives in danger. We have the evidence there because electronic evidence is admissible now in the BVA in court. We can use those mechanisms. We could get the shops, the businesses in the country, put cameras in place that would help us to facilitate. Okay, that's the border. It happened inland. We can still track you. We can still find out what's happening. Facial recognition at our airport. You look at, we had a incident happen just a mile away from us along the street. It took the police nearly a month to find out who the person was. Now the person came through the airport. But if we had facial recognition and you go and you match, you would see exactly when they arrived, who they were, and all that stuff. There are things that can happen. The point is, we're not challenging ourselves outside of the box to fix it. So we need to get outside of the box and begin to fix it. Yes, the governor is responsible for security, but yes, it is you and I duty to be sure that we secure ourselves and our home and our people. I don't want to hear people study saying, what the governor doing? What am I doing? What are you doing? What are we doing to protect ourselves?
All right. I have a series of questions for you, and I'd like to get your take on this. You can simply say yes or no, or if you want, you can elaborate on whether or not you would support abortion. Stay tuned for more Just for the Record right after this.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
today I am doing cobble treatments with Beyond the Reef. Today we are doing shark research. So today we are doing whale research with Beyond the Reef. And wherever I go, I take CCT with me because my life is unlimited.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I have a series of questions for you, and I'd like to get your take on this. You can simply say yes or no, or if you want, you can elaborate on whether or not you would support abortion.
It depends. We know for a fact that there are a lot of issues where young girls are being raped. I was a policeman. I've dealt with cases like those. Is it fair to that person to live their life in another responsibility? Now it may sound crazy to others. The Bible says this: I would not go beyond the biblical principle, but I look at the circumstances. And I think there should be some consideration on the circumstances. Biblically, it's wrong. The circumstances, it may warrant the merit.
Understood. The legalization of same-sex marriage.
Oh, that's a no-no in my book. I am not going that road. I think that the Lord has made Adam and Eve and not John and Steve.
All right. The legalization or decriminalization of marijuana.
It can be a subject, but for right now, I think we need to curb our present issue. We need to be able to create a settled society before we add more to the society. Because we know just about now, we have the marijuana process in different forms through all sort of means, the candy, the whatever else. So we need to curb that problem. And I think that's some of the problem that are affecting our young people. You can't add to it. We need to get the society back in control, and then we could see where we go from there.
I definitely think I know what your answer to this will be, but I have to ask: the legalization of parimutuel betting.
At the end of the day, it's revenue for all of us. It's something that my last campaign trail I've been lobbying for. I travel a lot to horse racing, which is my end sport. I love the sport. That's the only sport that I really invest. I mean, I support other sports,
right,
but that one particularly, I train my own horses. So I have a
You're
passion.
a lover of the sport.
A love of the sport. So yes, it will also, on the tail end run, bring revenue to the country, bring revenue to the government. And I would support, and I'm grateful for the approval through the former premier, getting it through the House. So let's see where we go from there.
Why do you think that the legislation is still not complete? It's gotten to a certain point, but it's still not there yet.
As far as I understood, they are trying to get a board of directors to be able to manage the whole process.
The commissioning body.
The commission of, yeah. So I think that's what the drawback to it is. But based on all the other factors, I think they're already in place.
You have been, you mentioned horse race, and you served as the president of the BVI Horse Racing Association. I hear the cries every day, and I'm sure you hear them. The people are disappointed that we are unable to have races. What can you say about that? And in hindsight, being a lover of the sport, how can we move past and return horse racing to the territory? What are your suggestions?
My suggestion to that, Ron, I still have 8 horses in the barn sitting at Seacoast Bay. Have to feed them every day, have to pay caretakers. So I know it's a pretty expensive venture. The disappointing factor is knowing that I invested time, energy, effort, because everybody said again, we wouldn't have had a 2022 festival race. I got all the horses here, I got the track ready, and we were blessed to have the local governor, the USVI governor, all our local dignitaries, the premier, everybody else, and it was a packed audience. I think it was well deserving for the people to come out, and after all that's been going through the pandemic, to socialize. And there you go, pop goes the weasel. It just disappeared from under us. We had the horses here ready to participate in our next race schedule. That just got stuck there. But those issues are learning issues to me. What I look at is one of the proposals that I first recommend was Anigada. I think going Anigada may be a bit of a challenge. So just in a little bit of what I have in my sport tourism industry, I decide, well, go Anigada with the drag track as we requested, along with the circuit racing where we go with the NASCAR racing style. We put that in Anigada. So here the sound of the car versus the ocean, that's going to go well out there. And then I look at Song and Virgin Gorda to put the horse racing, because what I want to do in my whole development plan is to have people reciprocating, circle in the BVI to make all of us benefit economically. We already have OA Shirley recreational track here. We are building the Olympic sport gymnasium at swimming pool at the college area. We have the Greenland with it. So we have some activity to keep people locally. The next drawback to that is, you're saying with all this, we're looking at more flights coming into the country. That's in my sport tourism plan. We're looking at more flights coming into the country. Where are we going to put them? Looking at 3 or 4 high-rise building in the Prospect Creek area. Prime land. Let's get on with the program. It matters not who do it. It matters we are going to benefit from it. And when we go at Prospect, we can get our nice casinos. Not that I'm encouraging betting or gambling, but the reality is that's where the world is going. We could look at our nice conference center that could hold 800, 1,000 people. So we have to look at what we can do, and we create jobs at the same time. At the same time, the entire BVI, not Tortola, not Virgin Gorda, not Anigada, the entire BVI grow. Now we look at Jos van Dyke. We will have to find something else besides the New Year's Eve Fest to keep them as well going. But we can do this. We can make it happen.
Understood. I'm happy that you mentioned the sister islands. So you say, or suggesting rather, the drag racing for Anigada, horse racing on the south side of Virgin Gorda, and of course coming up with something for Jos van Dyke. Do you have a favorite sister island?
They're all BVI in the BVI chain of things. The favorite is economic growth. Everybody.
Okay. What is your favorite Virgin Islands cuisine?
I like my fungi and fish.
Okay.
And I sometimes I haven't had piece of cornfish in quite some time. And the way it used to be prepared in the olden days, a little culture here on, is you used to do it with the cream from the milk from the cow. So it used to be more rich then. You know, when you eat it, you get in the real BVI culture love. But we don't have the cow milk like we used to preserve the cream like we used to. Because I used to use the cream to make the bread. You use the cream to make the sauce for the fish and and all that stuff. So.
Okay. Do you have a favorite rum, Virgin Islands rum or drink?
You know, Ron, be honest with you, I'm not in no way like drink like that or smoke those things.
Okay.
But if I do sometimes, I would simply get like I heard the BVI gin that just came out.
Yes.
I try to a little bit with a little tonic water, just to be a part of the social event. But I do that because it's a part of the local development, and to support your own, you encourage what they're selling.
So you'll do the BVI gin if you have to, or maybe the BVI vodka.
Yes.
All right. What are you most proud of in being a Virgin Islander?
I'm proud of what they've done for me, and all the development and the success I have obtained over the years. This country, from my humble beginning, from chasing cows to all the things I've done, law enforcement, trained firemen, trained security, now having my own headquarters, being able to rent space to somebody else, this country have done all it can for me. And I'm intending, by all means necessary, to continue to give back in an even meaningful way to this country.
There are many persons who say that they're not voting. Some of the young people say they're not voting, they're not supporting any particular candidate or party For the ones that are not seemingly willing to use their democratic right, what do you say to those people?
I say to those people, it is your democratic right to vote or not to vote. But if you don't vote, then you can't be responsible for the things that happen tomorrow. You have to be a part of the change. Right now we have the constitutional change. We have the issue where we are being held under the whip from the mom saying if we don't, she's gonna cut our tail and control us. So with your vote, with your voice, your vote is your voice. That tells them that I'm willing to hold the BVI to what it is. I'm willing to hold the next person that's coming in accountable for what we need to have them do for us. And that's what it's going to be.
Why should the people of the Virgin Islands vote for Lesmore Smith?
I think, honestly, the issue that Lesmore Smith have always been and maintained to be a part of, ensuring that the society grow, help to develop. I can go as far back as to tell you from Miss Bisa Smith, who is Queen. I've been sponsoring these sort of shows throughout this country, not for my own gain, but because I love this country. And I ain't saying that because I'm here asking them for their vote. I'm saying that because that's a reality. Whether I win or not, I was in the 2019 election. I didn't. I still continue what I was doing. Whether I win or not, I'm going to continue the person I am. Nothing's going to change that. So by giving me a little added opportunity to be able to fight closer for you would give all of us the chance to see whether or not he was just wasting his energy or he really mean what he says.
Mr. Smith, you have been one of our featured guests on Just for the Record, and I'd like to thank you not only for this conversation, but thank you for exercising your democratic right in seeking to be a representative for the next House of Assembly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, listening audience. I appreciate being here. On election day, I'm asking you for your support. I'm asking you to trust me then when you came and asked for me to help. Trust me then, I'll continue push even further to get more help for you and be sure that this country remain in our hand for our people and continue to develop. Caribbean or otherwise, wherever you are, as long as you live in this country, it is our country. There's no separation, no segregation. It's our country, you're part of us, and that's what it is.
That's it, everyone. You've been watching Just for the Record featuring Mr. Lesmore Smith, at-large independent candidate, Journey to Elections 2023. I'm Ron Grant. You've been watching 284 Media.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're
impacting
feeling it.
Lonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.